What's happening, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It should be Thursday, technically. Actually, where I'm at is technically Thursday now. It's a late night one, guys. So yeah, this is for my old school people and the new ones, whoever's up right now. But I would usually go on pretty late from time to time. Say what's up to everybody. What's up, Diane in Pennsylvania? Feel like it's been a long time. Norma Thomas, Angelina ATF, Lufa, down the rabbit hole. All right. So, yeah. Oh, check out my sweet new shirt, homie. Right? I mean, I just got this thing. I realized that I always wanted a Flash Gordon shirt. This is like what he wore in the movie when I was like a little kid, and I saw that movie, and I wanted one really bad. And then I just went online and I was like, I gotta find one. And so I got me a Flash Gordon shirt. I just cut in today, and I'm really excited about wearing it. I love my t-shirts, man. I get really into new t-shirts. I get excited when I get a new one. And I had a really great t-shirt collection, and I lost it about a year and a half ago. No, Down the Rabbit Hole, it's not. But it's definitely one of my favorite childhood movies. And I remember being a little kid and thinking I really wanted a shirt like that, like he was wearing in the movie. And then it hit me like 40 years later that I really wanted this shirt. And then I got a wild hair up my ass, and I went online and I looked for it, and it turns out that Walmart had them in stock, and I was like, psh. So it's like, not only is it like a dope shirt that I always really wanted, and it was really cheap. What's up, little Andy? Barnyard Hardwaddle, Yvonne, Booze Love, Marissa Baruman. Okay. All right. So yeah, definitely some new names in here. Definitely some new names. Welcome, guys. Welcome. So tonight, it's, believe it or not, okay, I know the title. I know the title seems a little heavy. All right. But we're going to try to keep it lighthearted a little bit, because we're actually going to watch some video. We're going to, because the idea here, we're going to discuss this issue because I don't think anybody's really talking about it. And the truth is, I really don't know how bad it is. So what I'm hoping to do basically is I'm hoping to discuss the issue with you guys here in chat, and see, and hopefully whoever's listening, maybe if they're having domestic issues right now, hopefully I can help you guys, help you put it into some perspective, and hopefully help you, come to some sort of conclusion in your mind as to why it's probably something that you should not be dealing with, something you shouldn't be putting yourself through, but something that you also shouldn't be putting your significant other through. And you're gonna see, we're gonna watch some stuff here. We're gonna watch real footage, because here's the thing: in this footage that I'm gonna show here, one thing to keep in mind when I show stuff like this, guys, you got to keep in mind that what's going on is something happened, and then somebody was inclined to pull out their phone and start recording. So we don't know what took place prior, and the person holding the phone and shooting the video is chances are is going to be looking like the good guy. So I want to right off the bat say that doesn't necessarily make it so. So try to keep an open mind here when you look at this stuff, because I'm not saying that anybody's a good guy or a bad guy when I watch this stuff, but you got to keep in mind that this is how these things happen. This is how these things play out. What happens is somebody feels inclined to pull out a phone and start recording, and then that person, no matter what, is going to have something in their mind to keep them under a certain self-control, to maybe put on an act, or they're being genuine, or it's very possible that they're being very genuine and they're like, you know what, I gotta film this crazy person, man. Look at just so I could show them later how crazy they're acting. So um and we're going to discuss a little bit, guys. We're going to discuss um how these things how these things can be very, very dangerous during a time like this, when, again, people, we've got to keep in mind, again, and anytime I discuss this, chances are that I'm going to explain it in a way that is that helps you maintain the perspective that nobody's ever dealt with anything like this before. So a lot of times, certain behavior, I'm not going to say is justified, but probably understandable to a certain degree, because we've never been through anything like this. There's people who have lived through hurricanes, tornadoes, things like that. And hurricane is probably the best example because I'm from Florida. And whenever there was a hurricane, people are stuck with each other. I remember Hurricane Andrew when I was a kid, and I was stuck in my house. There were trees that were knocked down, full on huge, full grown trees, man, knocked down and blocking the street. So nobody was going in or out. And we didn't have power for like almost 2 weeks. And so it was me, my mom, my stepdad, my brother, and it sucked. It sucked. It was hard. Now, considering that we weren't the most functional family in the first place, we did okay. I don't think any of us really went at each other too bad. But the thing is when you're stuck together in a situation, and on top of everything else, there's a factor of fear that is already keeping you on edge, or at least keeping one of you on edge. And that's not a good mix, man. It's not a good mix of cabin fever and fear. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and just explore it and see what everybody thinks. What's up, Breakfast Club fan? How you doing? Rockabilly Daisy and Copper Star, my homie. All right. I'm really glad everybody's here, man. Thanks for showing up. I know it's a late one, so I'll try not to run it too long. But I just kind of felt like hanging out tonight. So this is one of those things where it's a very, very complicated thing, because normally 99% of the time 99% of the people who end up in these situations, who end up in these type of scenarios, are people who have protested love, or that have expressed verbally and shown acts of love, that they are committed to this other person and they are totally in love, and they're they are absolutely and 100% supposedly living life for each other. People who promise to take care of the other. This is very, very interesting to me, because people, I feel like they lose that calibration. Somehow it gets all mixed up. And, for some reason, that love for that other person becomes passion. And that passion can cause you to behave in a very, very irrational manner. Now, I'm not saying that that's usually the case. Usually the case, actually, is people convince themselves that they're in love with someone and they're not in love. They confuse loneliness with love, or they confuse insecurity with love. They, any situation where there's a possessive nature, I think it lacks love, because in my personal opinion, the epitome of a loving relationship is trust. And if your actions show that you don't trust that other person, well, you're already doomed. And that's just my personal opinion. Now, take anything I say with a grain of salt, because I'll be honest with you guys, I've never had a long-term functional relationship. I'm bad at relationships. I always have been. But you know, I've been in love before, or I've chosen the wrong girl who didn't love me back, or I got into something because it was convenient and I didn't love that person because I was lonely and I just used somebody to feel better about myself. You know, I wasn't always the person that I am today. And right now I'm very, very careful about engaging in a situation like that with another person because I get worried that not just, I actually don't worry about myself getting hurt anymore. I really don't. I can honestly say that. Hey Casey, what's up? And hey Heidi Lee. I can honestly say that I'm not worried about being hurt. I've come to terms with the fact that when you decide to engage in a relationship with someone that you very truly love and care about, you have decided to trust them with your heart. There's nothing there if you're not taking that risk. You know, there's a certain thrill to it. And that thrill is kind of flying blind and saying to somebody, here's my heart, here are my feelings, and I'm putting them in your care. And that's a hell of a step to take with someone. And we underestimate that a lot. And I think a lot of the people who have these type of dysfunctional relationships, they tend to take this for granted a lot too. They tend to underestimate this, or not really take it seriously, to say the least. But hey, Bee Stinger, what's up? So I have, I take issue with that. I do believe that when you decide to engage in this type of committed relationship with another human being, that's the agreement you're making. Hey, thanks for joining Down the Rabbit Hole. I appreciate it. I really honestly, to me, I gotta be ready for that thrill. I gotta be ready to, to put that trust with someone else. And so I have to enjoy that instead of, because what a waste of time would it be to be scared of that, right? What a waste of time. When you think about it, when you put it in perspective like that, how much of a waste of time and energy is it to say that you're giving someone that trust, but being afraid and spending all that time afraid that they're going to hurt you in some way? Because if that's, first of all, that's the opposite action of actually trusting that person. You're not trusting them. If you're afraid they're going to hurt you, then you're not trusting them. You have to be willing to take that hurt if it happens. I truly believe that the secret is to truly enjoy every moment and see every moment and be grateful for every moment with the person that you're with, and benefit from that. Just enjoy it. It's fruitful if you allow it to be, if you make it as best as you possibly can for that other person, and realize even if that person isn't giving it back, have enough self-respect to just be like, okay, this isn't working. No matter how bad you want it to work, no matter how attracted you are to them physically, or one thing about their personality that you're attracted to so much, if it, or everything. But I believe the trick is to absolutely love yourself and have respect for yourself, because you can't expect someone else to have respect and love for you if you don't have that for yourself. We follow example, people. That's what we do. And I'm going to really, really fall for a girl who really genuinely loves herself, is completely and totally secure in who she is, and empathetic towards others, who feel the same way and do the same. To me, that's my dream woman. So I think that's really, really important. And if you don't have that exchange, man, if it's not a mutual trust, if it's not a mutual trust, you're just kind of drawing out the inevitable, right? I mean, it's not gonna work. it's not gonna last forever. So why keep it going? Why waste time? Why waste that person's time? Why waste your own time? Why let them waste yours? Right? I mean, so hey, Tracy Angel, glad you're here. Yeah, so let's watch a little bit of this stuff. Let's try to have fun with it too. I realize I want a disclaimer here. I'm going to lay out a disclaimer. I realize this is a sensitive issue, but people act stupid. It's kind of funny, and we're going to laugh at some of this stuff. Okay, so anybody who's too sensitive, if I'm messing with your delicate sensibilities, I apologize, but this isn't going to be the channel for you. So, all right. All right, here we go, folks.
What? No, you just told me you don't want to do it anymore. No, I told you I'm not dealing with your bullshit anymore. You said, oh, well, yeah, I won't have to deal with bullshit anymore. So, yeah, I don't care that you fucking leave me. That's basically what you said. Well, whatever. Take it how you want to take it. Whatever. Yeah, fine, whatever. Really? Yeah. You don't want to do it? No. Why? Because of this shit right here. Really? Yeah. So, again, Shaylin caused us to fucking be done, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That phone's not yours, you fucking piece of shit. What are you gonna do? Give me the fucking phone!
Now, all right. I think so far we see, again, we didn't see what happened prior to this dude pulling his phone out and starting to hit and record, right? But I think we see who the most irrational person is right now. Now, always the person with the camera is going to be the rational person that we see. We don't know how irrational that person was behaving prior, but you see this woman, and it's like he knows her too. I mean, obviously he knows her. It's his girlfriend, or his wife or whatever. And he tells her, he's like, "Don't do it, don't do it."
Really? Why are you fucking doing this shit, Randy? Why? Because of Shaylin and Marissa? No. Like Shaylin already fucking talked you into it? No. Yeah. No. But why do you not want to fucking be with this shit right here? This shit right here. Fucking made me do it, Randy.
Okay. That's important right there. So we just saw what happened. We saw this woman was in her car. She was about to drive away. And then she's about to get out of the car. And my man is like, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And then as when she gets out of the car, she tries to take the phone. I guess the phone's in her name, or maybe she bought him the phone or whatever. Who knows? People buy each other crap. Sometimes one person buys the other person all the stuff. It happens. The dynamic of their relationship as far as that goes is not necessarily important. But and if it is important, and if it is an issue and somebody takes issue with it, well, then they shouldn't even be engaged in that situation in the first place. You know what's going on. And Lufa, you're right. A lot of people that you'd think that people are too old for that shit, but they're not. Because everybody we're looking at here is probably going to be grown-ass adults. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact that they're behaving in this irrational manner, And just imagine what couples like this with this type of explosive dynamic, what they're like in a quarantine situation. Imagine if they have children living in their house and the children being subjected to this. To what degree, who knows? To the whether they're just witnessing it or whether they're involved in it and being hurt in the process. So these are things we got to keep in mind, folks. Yeah, Rockabilly Daisy, it does sound like he has something in his nose. I mean, who knows? They're probably a couple of meth heads, man. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, and honestly, making that judgment, if you think about it in a situation like this, because somebody might go, yeah, who are you to say something like that? You can't. That's really presumptuous. Well, that's really presumptuous, Glare, to sit here and say that these people are drug addicts. Well, I'd prefer to look at it as if I'm suspecting drugs, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, because that's a much more understandable excuse than just being sober people behaving like this. And I'm going to be honest with you folks. You know, I was a young guy and I used to drink. And I have had relationships like this and dated girls like this. I'll even tell you a story later on. I'll tell you a story. But I know firsthand that these things can escalate, man. These things can escalate. And worse than that, someone who is used to being in relationships like this and doesn't see a pattern or doesn't seem to want anything to or to do anything about this pattern. They don't seem to want to do anything about it. People like this, what happens is it just escalates relationship after relationship. They go one relationship to another relationship and so on and so forth. And they just keeps going on, but they keep getting worse because they lack the effort to try to be self-aware. And in scenarios in someone's mind like this, where it just progresses and it seems to get worse and worse, just imagine the scenarios are going to get worse and worse. The danger is going to become worse and worse.
Because you need to stop.
Oh, and that's another reason I wanted to pause right there, because just before that, she had said, I did this because of you. She was in her car and then she got out and he even said, don't do it. And then what does she do? She goes and she gets in his truck and tries to damage his truck after she tries to take the phone from him. And then she puts some damage to his truck. And then he's like, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. And then sure enough, she's like, you made me do that. I mean, let's be honest, guys. When there's a domestic violence situation, when you've got somebody who's abusive, right? See, that is a symbol, or that is a symptom of an abusive person right there. A very, very significant and common trait is not taking any accountability, blaming the other person, gaslighting. That's not intelligent gaslighting, but gaslighting nonetheless, saying it was you made me do it. Now it's not working. The guy's not buying it. He's like, nah. Yeah. Rockabilly Daisy. I've dated, the majority of women I dated are Hispanic women. I'm half Hispanic, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a thing. It's Latin women have a fire about them. They just do. It is what it is. You know, you could call it a stereotype, but it's a very, very, I don't think any Latin woman would ever disagree with that stereotype, to be perfectly honest. I grew up in Miami. So Latin women, they're very, very passionate people. And so when they get passionate and angry, it can get ugly, man. It can get ugly. But men too, you know, it's not just women, it's men too.
Come on, it's not yours anyways.
Oh, yeah?
No, I fucking paid $100 for it, and it's on my
Yeah, out of my money. Yeah, out of my money.
I'll shut it off anyways.
Shut it off. I don't care.
Then give me the phone.
No.
Why are you doing this? You're pushing me to fucking hit me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you do it every time.
You hit me and you're going to regret it.
Fucking do it.
You hit me and you're going to...
Okay. I love it. So she's not very intelligent. Like she's trying to justify her actions because she knows she's being recorded right now. She knows she's being recorded, so she's putting on an act. And you can see what she's doing because she's doing one of these. She's looking at him and then she's looking at the phone. She's looking at him, she's looking at the phone. And this sort of thing is very, very clear, especially what she says right here. She says, you do this every time. You're making me hit you. You're going to make me hit you, and you do this every time. So this person is clearly, not only do I suspect her of being the aggressor, the aggressor physically. The aggressor physically. Not only do I suspect her of this, but I pretty much know it now because she just basically admitted it. So this is kind of crazy. So now there's the other side to that coin, right? What if this guy dates her? Maybe he's intellectually superior to her, right? And he uses that to be mentally abusive towards her. Maybe he understands her temper. He knows her temper. Maybe she's not as stupid as she's coming off. Maybe she's intelligent enough to know him well and know his games. Maybe what she's saying is absolutely true. Now, that doesn't give her the excuse or the right or the justification to put her hands on him, not in the slightest bit. Nobody should be hitting anybody. Nobody should be hitting anybody. But maybe this is a guy who enjoys playing the victim. Maybe this is a guy who manipulates her into losing her temper, knows exactly what buttons to push, pushes her buttons, gets her to lose her temper. She goes off and hits him. Maybe it's his wife. Maybe he's trying to divorce her and try to come out of it clean. And he's pulling out his phone and he's trying to get evidence of her irrational behavior. So we don't know. But the fact of the matter is even if that's the case, people, even if that's the case, let's not lose sight of what actually matters here. And what actually matters here is this woman, if she has enough common sense to be aware of the game that he's playing, then she should have enough common sense to take the next step to not give him the satisfaction, to not give him that power. She should have that. Because she's clearly intelligent enough to do that. If she's intelligent enough to point out what he's doing and his manipulation tactics, his alleged manipulation tactics, then she should be intelligent enough to make a decision and say, I'm out. I'm not doing this. Because what happens is situations like this, anything could happen. Accidents can happen. She could have gone and broken that glass, and then the piece of glass could have gone and, hit him in the jugular, for all we know. I'm not saying that was likely to happen. I'm saying it could happen. It's possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. But it could happen.
Regret it.
You will never see Chase ever again in your whole fucking life.
You want to bet?
You're not on his birth certificate. You're not his
I don't care.
All right. So I'm assuming Chase is her child. He's the stepdad or the boyfriend, and he has taken the responsibilities of being a father. Now, I am to the point now. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am to the point now where this guy has just been putting up with her shit for a long time. I don't think that she's correct. I think she is just someone who lacks the ability to take accountability. I think that she is the kind of person who lacks self-awareness. And I think that she is not intelligent enough to be manipulative, but but kind of harebrained enough to just lose her temper very quickly and get physical. I've seen this type before, dated this type before. And this is a very, very interesting thing, because right now what she's doing is she's trying to take the phone, and who knows, she probably caught him cheating on her or something. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the guy's an angel. I'm saying this is the type of person that he's dealing with. This is the type of person he's dealing with, the type of person that would take this child and use this child against him and use the power of him not being this child's natural father, rather than giving him credit for being in this child's life without the obligation to be this child's father figure. He took on that responsibility. And instead of praising him for it, instead of looking out for her child and saying, you know what, this is important, and he has nothing to do with this, and there's no reason why my son should suffer because we're a couple of assholes. But instead what she does is she uses this child to hurt this man, not giving a shit how it's going to make the child feel in the process. So this, in my opinion, convinces me that woman is a shitty motherfucker.
You want to bet?
So guess what? You're not going to see him.
You want to bet?
You want me to bet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Shut it off. I don't care. The video's still going to be on it.
I don't care.
I'll put you in jail tonight.
Go ahead, baby. I'll call back right now.
Can I tell them what you got in yours? Well, I'll do the same with mine.
Why are you fucking acting like this, Randy? Why? All I did was fucking try to talk to you, and then you're gonna sit there and tell me you want to fucking leave me?
Oh, but now I got to.
Here's the drill she was using.
All right, that's it for that one. So yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that this woman is just a pain in the balls to have to live with, man. Yeah, Angelina ATF, yeah, that's true. And hopefully the kid wasn't listening to any of this. For all we know, the kid was in the back seat of the car, and listening to all of this, because I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that this happens often, and this kid was subjected to it, and who knows how old this kid is. And it's, and it's really sad, because that kid is going to grow up angry at everybody. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I can tell you that 150% with certainty that kid is just going to grow up resenting everyone and having issue with getting close to anyone and possibly being a shitty adult. If you're the type of person that has issues being close to anyone, well, chances are you're probably an asshole. And that too, TCH, that too. The child will think it's normal behavior. And that's the type of relationships that child is going to engage in once they become an adult. Let's see what this is all about.
To drill my truck. Where are you drilling at? Where are you drilling at? Down there? You're the one that said it.
Okay, so I guess they're in Oregon.
Pulling my lights out. Breaking into my truck. Oh. My antenna. Yeah, she did. My antenna. Yeah, she did. She definitely didn't do that. I told you that yesterday. Here's the dent.
Okay, I feel like now she's kind of putting on an act, because I think what was going on here was they got into a fight, some sort of altercation, and then she decided to take it out on this man's truck. So this guy, he comes out to film that the damage that she's doing to his truck. She pulled out a drill and she was trying to drill the dude's truck, and he's basically filming it to try to get an admission. I think this is a smart guy. He's probably going to say, okay, whatever happens here, this woman's going to end up paying for my shit. So
it's my car. Oh, so you stole it? See this fucking mess she's making, dude. She broke that window out, broke this window out. Just keep it up. Then she goes into my house. Yeah, because I'm being forced to let you in. Because you're gonna make a scene unless I let you in my house and sleep.
She's hit me twice now.
Let's go, bitch. Let's go.
Woo!
oh, she's angry, dude. Like she's woo, man. What's up, mommy, for the win? She's mad, man. She's fired up. I wonder what this is all about. I mean, what's she so mad about? I'm curious to know what she's so mad about. And she got homeboy over here holding her back. Yeah, Lufa. I mean, most of us feel this way. You know, most of us feel this way. I know I feel this way, and I've always felt this way. But I've also been a person of principle. And I, you know, at least that's the way I justified it in my mind. I would argue and argue and argue, and I still do that. I do that shit in Facebook threads, you know, where I just argue and argue and argue, and I don't let up. And if I feel like I'm right, I'm right, you know, and that's not really the way to go. I mean, I've gotten a lot better about that these days, especially like if I have that type of dynamic with somebody on a regular, you know, if I see a pattern, I'm not dealing with them in my life. Even if I think that they're the type of person and that could happen, I'm not having them in my life. I mean, I do that here on YouTube. There's people I've blocked that haven't even done anything to me, you know, and I'm just like, you know, or they haven't done anything that's actually hurt my feelings. I'm just like, I'm not going to get anything out of this, you know. There's just no, I can't imagine any fair exchange between the two of us, a fruitful exchange. I just don't see that happening, and that's happened. It's funny, like you know, there was somebody I booted out of my chat just because she's here, and she's, you know, blowing up the chat and you know, with her opinions and everything, and it's great, you know, and everything, and then I will literally see the same person in someone else's chat trashing me and trashing my channel, and it's like, you know, that doesn't bother me. That's the thing, is I have a YouTube channel. People are going to be critical, and that's cool, but I just don't respect people who are one way to your face and then another, where they think it's behind your back. But like, I mean, dude, I have eyes. I have YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I sometimes I listen to other people's chats or some other people's lives. Sometimes I don't say anything and I just watch. Sometimes I have people come back. They take screenshots and they bring them back to me, you know? And I don't even ask people to do that. Sometimes people just do it, you know, but 99% of the time I just see it for myself. I'm just like, wow, you know, and it blows my mind. You know what I mean? So I just don't need, if I am aware that they're that type of person, that they behave in this manner, if I'm aware of it, then whenever they do interact with me, what am I getting out of that? If I have that in the back of my mind and I'm thinking, well, this conversation really means nothing to them because they clearly feel a certain way about me, that, you know, so the way that I see it is I'm doing them a favor. You know what I mean? I'm just making it easier for the both of us. If you feel a certain way about me, where you feel like you need to vent about me to someone else, you know, why you would come into my chat and be cool with me is beyond me. I don't understand that. But I'm saving you from looking stupid any further, really, is what I'm doing. I'm saving you the the headache of having to deal with someone that you dislike, right? And I'm also saving you, I'm saving you just the trouble, you know. So, I mean, I just, yeah, you know, I'm just, you're prolonging the inevitable. So I'm just saving us a bunch of time. It's the way that I see it. Let's see what this woman's all fired up about, dude.
Woo! It's so much worse than you know.
So I don't allow your video, because that's illegal.
Bro, she hit me twice. I haven't done anything except say words.
I know, but you don't need. To be
No, you can't.
If you have a problem with the guy in the Accord, you have a problem with the guy in the Accord. I understand.
But she called me down because of that. And both of you, she said, come down. So I came down and I explained this.
Okay. So that brings some things into perspective here. This guy is an example of someone who pulled out a camera and tried to act like he was the victim here and that she's the aggressor because she's the one screaming and behaving irrationally. What I find interesting is this third party here. This gentleman who's actually kind enough to hold her back because he doesn't have to be involved. The truth is he could be pulling out his phone and just filming the whole thing and getting tons of hits for it. But he's not doing that. He genuinely cares about these people. And he seems to be the kind of guy that's not scared to call his buddy out on bullshit, because what just went down was he just basically said, you know, come on, you're being a dick too, man. Look at you. You know, you pull out your phone and you're acting like you're the victim here, but it was, you were mad about some guy in an Accord, right? So obviously there was some jealousy issue. He got pissed off and he lost his temper, and then she lost hers. And now he's like, oh, look who's acting crazy. And he's pulling out his phone and he's filming her. And this guy is just like, man, why am I friends with these people? You know, what am I doing?
Situation to you, correct?
You came down and started talking shit to me. You fucking idiot.
I'm trying to talk to you. I'm not particularly talking to her unless she's going at me. But I didn't have an issue with her at the start. I didn't. I told you what I had an issue with.
You want to test me? Your little apartment
See, hold on. Let's see what she says here.
has been yelling shit and talking.
I'm settled. I don't have a fucking issue. I came down to talk to you about the situation I am. That she thought was an issue with her.
I will fuck you up. I will fuck you.
Okay, so this person right here, there's no valid excuse as to why she's behaving this way, other than I'm gonna have to say, you know, some sort of mental issue, some sort of psychological ailment that she suffers from, probably bipolar disorder. Maybe I'm not a mental health professional, but she's someone with this kind of anger. It seems, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with her, mommy for the win, but there's something wrong with this guy too. He's a dick. I mean, let's face it. This guy's an asshole, you know. This guy is sitting there and he's making her out to be this crazy person, which she probably is. I mean, look at her, look at the way she's behaving. She's screaming, she's yelling, she's threatening. Excuse me. And this guy is sitting there going, "Oh, I'm cool, man. I'm cool." You know, why is he filming? If he cares about this person, why is he filming her like this? Seeing that she's, because this isn't a person who's just being mean. Like the lady in the Dodge in the red Dodge and the guy with the truck, she was calm, right? She was composed, but she was behaving irrationally. She was doing things to his truck, but she wasn't screaming. She wasn't throwing anything. She was just angry. You could tell she was angry. And but this guy, this woman right here, I feel like she genuinely feels like she has been done wrong. When she's screaming, "Who are you? Who are you?" I feel like that's an indication that this guy was completely and totally off the handle at one point. And then when she reacted and then he calmed down, she saw that as gaslighting. And I think, honestly, I think that she is a victim of gaslighting in this scenario. I believe that. I think that she is definitely a victim of gaslighting here, and I feel bad for her. I think that she needs to address her anger management issues. Most definitely, I think that's extremely important. But most definitely, I feel like she needs to have enough self-respect to get out of that situation with this person who seems to be getting off on her being upset. He seems to be enjoying it. He thinks that it's funny. I would think it's funny if somebody was just taking my stuff and trashing it and just being like, oh yeah. I'd film and be like, look at you. I can't wait to show this to you later, But this is a little different to me. I think that this is something where she has issues. He takes advantage of those issues, and he doesn't seem to be in any way empathetic towards her. I think he's enjoying seeing her go through this and feel this kind of distress instead of trying to understand this distress and trying to help her the way that their friend is.
How many people are staring at you? 7?
I have fucking PTSD. You want to yell at me all the time off the balcony? I'm gonna fucking snap. You can show this to the cops.
Relax.
Show them.
Now.
Show them.
Calm.
Hi, Peel Regional.
Came down because she had an issue. She thought I was talking to her.
Okay,
I'm
you were talking.
constantly.
Interesting. Okay. See, that indicates to me right there. Did anybody else catch that? That indicates to me right there that she has a history of mental illness. Well, obviously, because she just stated very loudly that she suffered from PTSD. That right there, there's a lot of things that come with PTSD. There's a lot of behavior that comes with PTSD, and the word triggered actually kind of comes from that. And people just loosely use that word. I hate when people use the word triggered to describe being or reacting to a situation emotionally. To me, it's thrown around, and it's just an overused word that just kind of annoys me, to be perfectly honest. But I think that she also, when you just heard her screaming, I think she was saying high pure regional. That sounds like an institution to me. That sounds like that could be a mental health institution that she probably has been to on several occasions, and there's always the threat of her having to go back. I think that's something that she probably struggles with. There's always the threat if she loses her temper and does something that she lacks the control of herself over, then she has the fear of being sent back to this place, and that's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. And again, I think that this guy uses this. I think that this guy uses this to try to control her. I think this guy's a piece of shit. From the little that I'm seeing on this video, I'm getting all that, and that's you know, I mean, again, it's just speculation based on what we're seeing here, but that's what I'm getting out of this. You know, based on his behavior, he doesn't seem to care about her. He doesn't seem to care about her.
Oh, I told you. That's why I came down and told you about the Accord. Correct. But when she's still yelling upstairs, yeah, because they're fucking. Because I'm down here by myself right now.
No, I understand that.
And they're gonna chirp a little bit. Because she's fucking yelling up there too. So of course everyone's gonna talk a little bit. But I'm down here trying to fucking.
That's what I'm saying. So I appreciate that you have an issue with the guy in the court.
You want to come down here and say that your girlfriend
Yes.
fights man? Bitch,
I don't have. I have no other issue, bro. I'm not trying to get into whatever the fuck happened with the car. That's not my situation. I don't want to fight anyone either. That's not me.
Do you think if you're going to sit there and call her a dumb cunt, she's going to freak out harder, she's going to calm down? She's got mental problems, okay? You can see that.
That's the thing. If the two of them are gonna fucking go at it like that, yo, they're gonna fucking
See, that guy just confirmed it right there. This friend, he's like, dude, and he's really genuinely trying to diffuse the situation. This poor guy, you know, he's genuinely sitting there saying, you know, calling her a cunt. Do you think that that's going to improve the situation, or do you think it's going to add to it? It blows my mind. Oh, I talked about it earlier. I just got the shirt today, Copper. It's a Flash Gordon shirt. See? Yeah, I love this shirt. I love my new shirts. So yeah, and then he confirms what I was just saying prior, that she has mental problems, you know, and he's not helping.
No, they're not going to go at it because I don't need to deal with that shit.
That's the thing. She's said stuff before, and she's been like, "Yo, come." She's called her down. Yes. That's when she starts going off on you, bro. I've seen it before.
Hold on.
Yo, come. She's called her down. Yes. But that's when she starts going off on you, bro. I've seen it.
See, now this guy, he's a special kind of piece of shit, because then he's like trying to like get this guy to side with him. That's what's important to him. He wants to get the buddy to side with him. He's like, because that she's gonna say the same shit to you, man. You know, that's I think it's messed up, you know, the way that this guy's treating this girl and taking her for granted, to be perfectly honest. You know, I hope this guy wises up.
Before.
I thought I was gonna lose. Please fucking tell me that. Exactly. And you, on the other hand, you want to come down here and tell me that I could get banged up on the, just in case you don't know, police, because my video is the police care. Bang out is street term for kicking somebody's bum. So he came and said that
For kicking somebody's bum.
Just kick my ass. I have PTSD and I'm sick and tired of them yelling shit at me. So I'm standing up for myself once and for all. Keep talking.
Now, I wonder if that's true. I wonder if that's the case. I wonder if she yells or he yells things at her all the time, if he puts her through this stuff, and she's probably, who knows, maybe he's been trying to get her to this breaking point just to get his rocks off, right? You know, what if this guy is always pushing her buttons, you know, just always pushing her buttons, and then he, you know, and then she finds, you know, and she's probably like, man, I don't want to go back to, you know, Pure Regional. I don't want to go back to this place. So please don't push me, man. Don't push me. And then today she finally snapped, man. She finally just went off. So Yeah, I'm right now. Right now my feelings are I feel bad for this girl.
Bitch. And everything in this video is legit. So if the cops want to Google, my name or run my name, all of that is there. All of it. So no, I'm not lying about anything. If you think, oh, I'm lying to get away with it, whatever, I'm not. Okay? I'm not lying.
So the whole time that she's talking, this dude's still talking to her, trying to reason with her. The buddy, he's he's sitting there going, just go sit in the car, just just go relax, please, just get out of this, and somehow collect yourself. He's not stopping talking. She's talking and not listening to anything he's saying. And yeah, this whole situation is a clusterfuck. It really is.
Of being antagonized.
Of course.
You need to go talk to that guy.
All right, so that's over. So yeah, she finally calmed down, and I really hope that she saw this video. I really hope that this video, I mean, because the thing is somebody just asked me, where do I find these gems? Well, I find these gems on YouTube, man. You know what I mean? I mean, that's people put these things out. They make these compilations and they put these things out. Once, these boyfriends, that's what they do. They put this stuff out there on the internet, or they send it to a friend and then the friend does it, right? But, once you film it and you send it to somebody, man, it's out there. It's out there, and yeah, mommy for the win. I agree that she seems crazy, but isn't it fair in that particular situation? Isn't it fair that she I'm trying to find the right way to put this. Isn't it fair to say that calling her crazy is dismissive, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong, because I feel like if I'm watching another, because there's still more to go. There's still more to go. We're going to be doing this for a few. But watching these videos, there's some people that I'm going to look at and I'm going to be like, okay, man, that woman's crazy, man, but it's really just because she's a bitch. But if I see somebody who genuinely has like mental issues, I'm not going to be so quick to just be dismissive and be like, you know what I mean? I feel like now maybe, maybe they behaved irresponsibly and they're reacting to a substance on top of their mental illness, or a lack of taking their medication that they're supposed to take. Right. I mean, we don't really know the situation. But sometimes you can tell when somebody's just being a fucking asshole. Right. And I'll be like, oh my God, look at this crazy person. I might do that, but I think, yeah, I think that particular case, especially, we were looking at somebody who had genuine mental illness that she was suffering from and struggling with all the time. Because there's a lot of people out there who have these mental ailments, these emotional ailments, and they're not institutionalized. So, I mean, she could have just been there once, but she clearly was speaking of the name of an institution, and the way that she was saying, it was like there was the fear, there was the presence of the fear that she would be sent back there. due to if somebody saw the video of her behaving the way that she was. She was aware of her behavior. She was justifying it in her mind by saying that she had PTSD, and she was justifying it by saying, you know, fine, the cops are going to see it, you know, Pure Regional is going to see it. So for the most part, I just felt bad for her. Let's see what this next one's going to be. Okay.
Bring me a garbage bag. Start to pick this shit up. Bring me a garbage bag. Bring me a garbage bag. Bring me a garbage bag.
Desiree, get the fuck out my way so I can leave.
No.
I don't got time for this. I really don't. I don't have the patience for this shit. Like, for real, just let me go. Let me leave. Get out my way and let me fucking leave, bro. That's it. You never let me fucking leave. You always blocking the door and all of this dumb shit. Let me go. Just let me fucking leave.
Yeah, see, I think that this was, and I think that a lot of women do this. A lot of women do this, and I think it's an issue. This situation that we're looking at right here, folks, I believe that this guy is with this girl. Who knows what their situation is regarding, you know, whatever their dynamic is. But when they fight, their dynamic is that this dude is just trying to leave so that he doesn't do anything that he'll regret once he loses his temper. And this woman will not let him leave. She will not. She blocks the door. She puts herself in a position to where she's creating more of a chance of there being a physical altercation than there not being a chance of one. She's not only not trying to avoid a physical altercation, what she's doing is she's trying to incite one. She is trying to instigate one. Otherwise, she wouldn't be blocking the door. Otherwise, she would not just, you know, otherwise she would just let the man leave and cool off. You know, again, people in functional relationships, I would imagine if they get into something, when something really, really bad, people who are intelligent, have common sense, practice rationality, can practice self-awareness, two people that engage in this type of intelligent interaction, when something really bad would happen in their relationship, because nobody's perfect, right? I imagine one person saying, listen, I need to walk out that door, because if I stay here another second, I don't know what I'll do. The other person should simply just go, you know what? Okay. All right. We'll talk about this later. So I get pretty annoyed when I see that type of dynamic going on. This woman right here is putting herself in a position, and this guy's filming it. So in his mind, there's a part of his mind that's already justifying whatever he's going to do moving forward here.
Fuck this shit. It's my birthday weekend. I'm never about to fucking sit here and be a goofy and deal with this shit.
You ain't no goofy.
Let me leave. Let me fucking leave, man. That's right. Okay.
All right, so what's happening here?
This is shit I gotta deal with every fucking damn near every other day. This is shit I gotta deal with.
Then leave, dude.
Niggas is pussy.
Then leave.
You don't have to go nowhere. You don't have to find somewhere to go.
Let me fucking leave. I don't care. I'm tired of this shit. I don't care. Now you throwing shit. Now you throwing shit.
I'm not tossing it at you. I'm getting rid of everything.
I don't care. I don't care what you do. See? Yep.
I'm getting rid of my life.
Wow.
I'm getting rid of
Really?
everything.
Really? Really?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, good call there, mommy, for the win. What like he had the opportunity. Did he not have the opportunity to get up and walk out? Was there not a moment like we were all just staring in silence at this guy? I mean, I'm not going to play that again, but there was a good minute there where this dude was like not, at least 30 seconds. This dude had time. Dude, have you ever set something in the microwave for 30 seconds? Dude, it feels like a lifetime. I've been able to go back to my bedroom and come back in 30 seconds before whatever's cooking is done, right? I mean, 30 seconds is a lot longer than you think, right? And so this guy had time to get up and walk out the door. I mean, maybe she was on the other side blocking the door. That's possible, little Andy. You're probably right. But I mean, the way it looked, I mean, I see what you're talking about, mommy, for the win. I'm with you.
Leave me the fuck alone. Just get out my way. You're not gonna let me leave, Desiree. I'm tired of this shit. I don't care. You're doing all this extra for nothing. I don't give no fuck. It's my birthday. So you really want to sit here and do this? No, you already recorded, baby. I got everything. I got everything, baby. I don't care. I got everything. I got everything. So let me leave now. The cops show, I'm gonna show them this whole video. I'm gonna show them how the fuck you act. I'm gonna show them how pussy you is, how dumb you is. Period. Let me leave. And I don't get no fuck. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me get the fuck up out this house. Desiree, I'm not even on Facebook Live. I'm recording you naturally through a fucking video. And I already got everything. You record me too. I don't care. I got everything.
This is just ridiculous, dude. Like, I mean, I wonder, maybe this is like during quarantine and mommy for the win, maybe, and she's holding it hostage. Everybody in chat's outraged over the toilet paper. This is very funny to me. I love you guys. You guys are the best.
Got everything. Fuck everything. Like, for real. Just let me go. Yep. You on. Yeah, you're on. Yeah. I got everything.
So do they not have any furniture? So, man, that's a small spot, dude. Maybe that's just the bedroom, but I mean, where's the bed? I mean, even a mattress on the floor?
No, you are not on Facebook, baby. I won't do it. All right.
What is it?
Y'all hear this motherfucker? Y'all hear this bitch?
I mean, and look at how he talks to her.
I don't know fucking Facebook.
Look at how he talks to her too. I mean, this guy's completely and totally disrespectful. These are two people that just simply don't love each other. This is a perfect example of what I was discussing earlier. These people just, maybe they did just move in, I don't know, but these people don't respect each other. She doesn't respect his wishes to leave, and he doesn't respect her enough to not call her a bitch. And I think that's sad, because what's funny is somebody out there really loves that woman, that's really sad.
I don't care. I just don't give a fuck, Desiree. Just let me leave. Move. Get the fuck out my way. You know I have the right to fucking get the fuck out your way, right? Like I have the right to fucking like leave. Get the fuck out my way. This is what she do. This is what she do, y'all. She walk in and out the fucking room, and then when I want to leave, she don't let me leave, man. She don't let me leave at all. It's my birthday weekend. I ain't got time for this shit.
All right, listen. People, those of you that know me, that know this channel, that you're not new to it, I'm going to tell you how I feel about birthdays, okay? I don't... when a grown-ass man sits there and talks about his birthday as though it's something to be considered an important event and that he should have some sort of treatment for that, I lose respect for them. I think, I mean, this is how I feel about birthdays, people. And a lot of people are going to disagree because people love birthdays, man. And when you're a kid, it's great. You know what I'm saying? When you're a kid, it's great. But let's be honest with you. You know, let me be honest with you. When a kid has a birthday, it's just another thing that, you know, they look forward to because they're going to get presents and they're going to get to eat cake. And it's, you know, and it's a kid thing. It's great. You know, Christmas, I feel the same way about as far as gifts go. Christmas, I mean, it's for the kids, man. You know what I mean? So when a grown ass man sits there and acts like, you know, I mean, dude, you're not special, dude. Why am I celebrating you doing the exact same thing that literally every other person on the planet has done as well, which is be born? You didn't have any say in that. Why are you being celebrated for that? You know, I mean, and on the other side of that coin, man, is what's up, Caleb? The other side of that coin is, okay, we should celebrate the fact that that person was born. That's great. Because yes, people, there's a 400 trillion to 1 chance of you being born. 400 trillion to 1. That is amazing, which is why you should do the best you can with your life and blah, blah, blah. I've talked about that on other lives, and I'm going to talk about that on lives to come. But the subject here is birthdays. There was one year I didn't know how old I was. I had said my age, and I said I was a year older than I was, and it turned out I was a year younger. and some girl at a bar actually corrected me on this. We were drinking and we were talking about birthdays and blah blah blah, and then she was like, "Yeah, if you were born in this year, then you're then you're this age." And I was like, I did the math, and I was like, "Shit, you're right." I don't think about my birthday ever. I don't care about it. I think it's the most ridiculously pretentious thing to push on people and hang over people. Oh, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Man, woman, I don't care. You know, even when a little kid does it, guys, you're going to tell me that when you don't hear a little kid go, "It's my birthday," you don't go, "Fuck that little shit." That's the adult version of doing that. That is totally the adult version of doing that. Of a little kid going, "It's my birthday. I should be able to do whatever I want." So a grown man going, "It's my birthday weekend, man. My birthday weekend. I gotta deal with this. My birthday week." Dude, nobody gives a fuck that you were born, guy. Nobody cares. That's why you have a girlfriend that you can push around. You know, that's because nobody gives a shit about you or you're, you know, nobody cares that you were born. What he hasn't, and think about it, he hasn't said anything. He hasn't said, you know, "I'm meeting my boys for this and blah, blah, blah." He hasn't said any of that bullshit. He's just saying it's my birthday weekend and I deserve, you know, he expects her to wait hand and foot on him.
Move. Y'all heard all of that? I'm just letting the cops know. I'm letting the cops know what's going on, so I don't get locked up. No.
Wow. Oh, she's got the phone.
Stop being on sleep this shit.
Nope.
Oh no, he got the phone back. Okay.
Move. It ain't stopping. The fuck on my way.
You just want to do that.
Get the fuck on my way, Desiree. All right.
Look at all that toilet
Well,
paper she's wasting.
I got enough footage.
So
y'all,
who's
so-
type of one if you're feeling some kind of way about that toilet paper right now? I agree, Caleb, I completely agree. I think that I think he could have maneuvered his way around her. You know, I absolutely agree. The toilet, everybody's pissed. Okay, so Mommy for the win, Rockabilly Daisy are definitely irritated about this mistreatment of toilet paper. And, and listen, here's what I got to tell you guys. All of you guys that are worried about the shortage of toilet paper, all I have to say to you is wash your ass. It's so easy. Like I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little intimate little detail about me, dude. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys in. I'm gonna give you guys probably a little TMI. I don't use toilet paper. I shower immediately after. I cannot stand the idea of any fecal matter being on my ass as I walk around. The idea that drives me crazy. So I'm telling you, nothing. Is there a better feeling than having just a completely and totally clean area down there? Okay, Mommy for the win. You got a good point there. The ladies wipe when they pee. But you can use fucking anything. You can use anything. Right? Yeah, you can't shower every time you pee. We do have that advantage. That was very insensitive of me to be like, I totally did not take women sitting down to pee and having to wipe. I did not take that into consideration. Wow. Was that sexist, guys? I apologize if it was. It was extremely ignorant. I apologize. I take full responsibility for that. It's still kind of funny though. But yeah, I have to shower, man. I have to shower. It's just not. It's not an option. And if there's an emergency where I'm not home, I'm taking a hobo bath. I swear to God, I'm taking a hobo bath with paper towels, the sink. I'm doing it. I got to do it. I can't just people who just wipe once and then throw it away. I'm like, how do you walk around like that? Yeah, I think, are you referring to a bidet? A bidet? Well, a lot of us don't have the luxury of a bidet. All right, we're getting off track here. Okay. Let's get back to the content, people. Let's do that.
That's all I need for the cops. Look, she's about to throw a plate. Look. Yeah, now she don't want to do it now because I'm recording this bitch.
You a sneak bitch, snake ass.
So she don't want. Nah, I ain't getting locked up for this shit. Nope.
Nobody even called the cops on you.
Yep. All right. I ain't stupid. But hey, I'm gonna get off of
Well,
here, man.
that's debatable.
Cops.
You're kind of
honestly,
stupid.
Cops. I mean, I know y'all hear the noise. When y'all see this video, just check her.
Yeah, good. I've had enough of those too. I'll be honest, I had enough of those too. But all right, let's see what this is all about. They look like they're just playing video games, chilling. Like, this is strange. Okay, let's see what happens here.
You know what's wrong? No sex for a f***ing month! I said, what? Are you going to get out of the difference?
Joe, hear that? She was losing. So I guess what's happening here is she was losing at the video game and she was getting really, really mad about it. And she tells him no sex for how long she said no sex. And and he's like, what difference would that make? So this doesn't seem like it's, hopefully it doesn't take a hard left turn here, but this dude is all chill and she's screaming and yelling. Hold on, let's see what happens here. Wow.
Don't feel bad.
Damn it!
Okay, hopefully she's just loud.
Damn it, Tom! I seriously swear to I hate you! You know what? You're such a complete asshole! I hate you so much! Let's use the weapons for this game! Damn it!
Oh,
You know what
shit.
this is? You know this is!
What the?
I swear to
Holy fucking shit. I wonder if that was staged. Does anybody feel like that might have been staged? Like they decided just for the sake of a great video to trash the Xbox. Maybe they upgraded video game systems or something. But I don't know. That was pretty good acting on her part if that's the case. But Caleb. Okay, let's I'm glad that Caleb said what he just said. Okay, this is a very, very okay, ladies. I know that 90% of you at least are what make up my chat. Okay, so that's also something that is an interesting theory to explore. It's a very, very common consensus among men that crazy women are great in bed. This is not untrue. It's not an unfair stereotype. But the thing is I don't know what it is with us men. I don't know what it is. I'm going to be honest and say that has been a reason. Maybe I didn't realize it consciously at the time, but that has been a reason that I've stayed with a crazy girl. Well, I mean, Jodi Arias, nobody's Jodi Arias crazy except Jodi Arias, man. She's Jody Meat Curtains Arias. But see, that's another situation. So let's look at Jodi Arias. So what was the name of her boyfriend? Was it Travis? Travis what? Was it Travis something? Wasn't it? Somebody help me out in chat. Who was the guy that Jodi Arias killed? But whatever his name was, this guy, Travis Alexander, this guy was a douchebag. This guy took Jodi for granted, treated her like shit, and that, I'm not saying that justifies her actions. I'm not saying that at all. But I mean, you play with fire, you're going to get burned, man. That's just what that boils down to. Dude, look, this is my thing about that sort of, okay, man or woman, doesn't matter, right? But if you listen, when somebody is capable of that kind of behavior, right? That's animalistic behavior, is it not? Right? That is animalistic behavior. So if you treat an animal like that, right? If you go out to the woods, right? And you sit there and you poke a bear over and over and over again, right? You just keep poking them and poking them and poking them. And then that bear mauls you like totally Reverend Leonardo DiCaprio just mauls you, right? You don't get to call yourself a victim of a bear attack, in my opinion. Does everybody see where I'm getting at with this? I don't think that you get to call yourself a victim. Because you have to know that they're capable of this behavior. There are signs. There are indications. Are there not? Right? There are indications of someone having the capability of this type of behavior. This is another thing, Copper. I have not started playing this, but yeah, and yes, it's a very common consensus that crazy women are better in bed. And here's the thing: there's a lot of reasons to explore that, because many women, they may have self-esteem issues. So to some degree, they enjoy being degraded. And then it just calls for dirtier sex, kinkier stuff, guys like when women are, most guys anyway, most guys like when a woman is, morally flexible in that department. But it's just it's the way guys think. It just is. They may not want their wives to be that way, but a lot of guys do. And it just is what it is. And we don't realize it. We just see ourselves, when we're young men, we see ourselves just really being attracted to the passion. And it and that can kind of overtake us, kind of like a drug, is having that person that you get to have this type of passion with. But unfortunately, it comes with the negative passion of violence and irrational behavior. And, so you get to be my age now, no sex is worth that. It's just not. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting involved in a situation like that. I can't have it. I don't have the patience for it. Like it's so easy for me to just shut somebody out, like, completely right now at this point in my life. It's so easy for me to just be like, nope, That's not going down. I've been down this road before, not doing it again. It's very easy. So that woman is pregnant.
Then why the fuck are you rubbing her back? Isn't she with Nick? Isn't she with Nick? Isn't she with Nick? Huh? Then why is she rubbing? Why are you rubbing? No, you don't tell me shut up. You don't fucking tell me shut up. You heard me? Huh? Are you listening to me? I'm right here. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna give you your fucking phone. What's yours is mine. No.
Wow. And that is a Latin woman.
I'm gonna stay here. He's my husband. Oh, that's fine. No, you're calling me outside. I'm calling you. I don't care. You go that way. You need to go pick her up after work. I'm calling you.
Everybody's filming this. Was that all that was?
Can you please leave? Why would I? You just punched me in the face.
You punched me, you bitch!
You punched me in the face first. What do you want me to do? You lucky I didn't punch you. I pushed you on the ground.
How fucking dare you!
You hit me in the face.
You punched me down!
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
Yeah, after you hit me in the fucking cheekbone.
You punched
Yeah, you see it?
bigger than me, you dumb bitch!
Yeah, that's why I didn't punch you. I pushed you on the ground to get you away from me.
Fuck you up!
Get off my property. Call the cops. No, you're fucking nuts. No, go away.
Hey guys, don't time anyone out. Just fucking boot them. Timeouts are a waste of any type of time or energy. You see anything like that, just boot them. So,
Stairs in the back. I have no idea what she's doing.
yeah, this is just another woman screaming,
Look at you.
saying, let me in. I saw this one before, and it just
Jacket.
goes on and on of her just screaming and saying, let me in.
Then why'd you come back over? You couldn't say you got your
Yeah, it just,
phone.
Why can't you?
so I don't even know what.
Why?
Oh, this is still the same thing, man. Like this woman just begging to come back into the house. Okay, yeah. So this is done.
I don't even fucking look.
All right. So, yeah. I think guys that we've seen enough of these domestic situations. But the fact of the matter is, people, is right now we are in a very, very crazy time, and we are stuck. We are stuck living with the people that we live with and spending more time with them. And that's just the way it is, and there's no way around that. There's no escaping that. Depending on where you live, a lot of people are out of work. This is another thing that's going to put stress on households, is what's happening right now is affecting the economy in a very, very bad way. And there's a lot of unemployment going on. And when people don't have jobs and they just want to work, and sometimes people are in bad relationships and their way to escape is to go to work and put their energy towards their job. And when they don't have that, well, what they're going to wind up doing is they're going to get at each other's throats. And it's a sad thing when we can't love ourselves enough to have the audacity to make ourselves happy, to make the move forward, to make ourselves happy. I mean, yeah. I mean, so what is the objective of being in a functional relationship, right? The objective is to have someone love you, right? Have someone absolutely love you and want to live their life for you, but also, more importantly, is feel honored that you get to love someone else and live your life for them. But I don't think that anyone in these situations are focused on any of that. I think they're lonely people, scared people, people who just don't believe in themselves in any way and don't respect themselves in any way. And I'm not saying this to talk down on them, because I was like that my whole life. I used to get in stupid arguments with ex-girlfriends all the time. Stupid arguments, stupid fights, just over the dumbest shit, or because I was with someone who I took for granted, and they would react to it, or I mean, that was usually the case, or it was someone who was just plain mean. I had a girlfriend who was just plain mean. I was already over these things. It was actually the last girlfriend I actually had. The last long-term girlfriend I actually had. I loved her. I loved her for years. We were friends for like 10 years. And I was actually in a relationship with someone when we had met, and she was in a relationship with someone, but we were attracted to each other, and we never acted on it, but we knew we were attracted to each other. And then I years later, I had long since not been with the girl that I was with, and she had divorced her husband. She was actually married to this guy, and she had divorced him. And then, and we got together, and we, the thing about her was she was beautiful. She was fun. We liked a lot of the same things. She was just a great buddy to have and hang out with too. And I was extremely attracted to her, and she was extremely attracted to me. But for some reason, and it wasn't just when she drank, but it was mostly when she drank. When she drank, she got mean. And I loved her so much, and for such a long time, that she would apologize later. That was the other thing. She would get real mean, and then she'd apologize. And it never really got physical. There was one time where it kind of got physical. I remember, she was hammered drunk, and I had to drive us, because we had her car, and I had to drive us from where we were, and she was wasted drunk, and she just passed out in the car, and she would not get up. And I kept shaking her and telling her. I mean, I knew she was asleep. It wasn't like there was anything like, you know, she was breathing and everything, you know, but she just kept, you know, whenever I would try to like wake her up and get her out of the car once we got back to my apartment. So, I was like, I'm going to leave you here. And I did. And she came up, like an hour later and then, was like, give me my keys, blah, blah. She was completely and totally shit-faced. And she was like, give me my keys, give me my keys. And I wouldn't give her keys. And so she physically tried to get the keys from me. And at most, I just pushed her away from me, you know. But then someone called the cops. And the cops show up. And the cops saw how she was behaving. She wasn't even trying to hide it for the cops. The cops saw, and I was going, she's way too drunk to drive. You know, it wasn't like she just had a couple of drinks. She's hammered. And it would be irresponsible of me to let her drive. And the cops actually agreed with me. And then, you know, they took our IDs and they ran our licenses. And I shit you not, my license ran back having a warrant. So you're going to love what I had the warrant for, by the way. About a year and a half prior to that, I think. Could have been longer, could have been shorter. I don't know. About a year and a half prior to that, I got a jaywalking ticket. Yeah. A jaywalking ticket. And I completely forgot about this jaywalking ticket. And they issued a bench warrant for my arrest. Ironically, though, she had a warrant for a speeding ticket that she did not pay. So we both get put in separate cars, go to jail. And I was just like, I can't fucking believe this. I can't believe this. The cops were even like so upset that they had to. I mean, I had a bench warrant. They're obligated. They have to take me to jail. If they run an ID and it comes back, you know, with a bench warrant and they don't come back with that someone, then, you know, I'm already in their custody. How are they going to answer for that? So they had to take me. And yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy. The cops were even like, you know, man, we got to cuff you. I'm really sorry. And I was like, it's cool. You guys are just doing your job, man. I mean, you know, I get it. And they had me in the cuffs, but they were like, are they too tight? And I was like, nah, they're okay. Like, never had a cop ask me if my cuffs were too tight. Never, ever, ever. And I've been in handcuffs a few times. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it either. We go to jail, and I was there for 2 nights, I think. And it was crazy because I was there overnight, one night, and then I was out the next day. And the reason why that happened is crazy. The ticket was for another jurisdiction. So they were going to extradite me to there. But instead, a judge from that jurisdiction came out there on a Sunday and saw what I was picked up for. Like, she's looking at my thing, and, you know, and she did the hearing like right there, like at the jail. It was crazy, totally what seemed unusual. It never happened to me before. And she was like, yeah, do you swear to tell the truth? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah. And then she's going through my thing, and she goes, "Oh my God." And then she like took a pen and just signed, and she was like, "You'll be out of here in about an hour. Don't worry." And I was like, sweet. And basically she saw that it was a jaywalking ticket. And yeah, I couldn't even believe. Dude, when I got that jaywalking ticket, I remember I was walking to go get something to eat. I was leaving my apartment complex, and there's a very, very busy street. And there's a McDonald's maybe a block up, but on the opposite side of the street. I was going to go get me some McDonald's, right? So I cross the street and I go get my McDonald's. Actually, I ate at McDonald's. And when I was coming back, I crossed the street the same way. And there was a cop on the other side of the street going, hey, come here. And I was like, you know, what's he stopping me for? Right. And he's like, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sick and tired of scraping bodies off of this street. Now, every time you people don't understand that when you cross this street, as busy as it is, you're playing Frogger, basically. You're pretty much playing Frogger. Now, sit over here and I'm going to give you a present. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, is this guy really going to give me a jaywalking ticket? I didn't even know they did that for real. The last time I saw somebody get a jaywalking ticket, it was like in a Three Stooges episode or something. It was like 1930s. I was blown away by you know, this guy was just being a dick. And so when he calls me over, he already had some dude that he was like shaking down for whatever reason, because it was in front of a seedy motel, right? And I was like, okay, you know, so I guess they were just trying to bust people for drugs in a seedy motel. And this guy didn't do anything. This guy, they searched him. They had him standing up against the car, and they went through all of his stuff. They took out everything out of his wallet and threw it on top of the car. And he had like what was it? Like, I guess it was a bandana. They let the guy go, and the guy, I guess, dropped the bandana, and he was just the guy felt so violated. I felt so bad for him, because he was a black guy, and he just felt like he was stopped for being black, because they did not pick him up for anything. They did not find any illegal. They didn't catch him in any illegal activity, and they did not find any, you know, contraband on him. So he felt harassed. And I don't blame him for feeling that way, because this cop was a dick. And I mean, who gives a fucking jaywalking ticket, man? Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, I bet you he probably, I don't know. If I had shown up for court for that, I wonder if he would have shown up for court. He probably did. And that's probably why I got the bench warrant. That's exactly what happened. If both of us didn't show up, then I probably wouldn't have gotten the bench warrant. But I think he showed up for court because of the jaywalking thing, just to be an asshole. And the guy like dropped his bandana, and the cop's like, hey, you dropped your bandana. He's like, I don't need it. And he's like, hey, get over here and pick it up. Dude. Yeah, I couldn't fucking believe that happened to me, man. I couldn't believe that happened to me. And furthermore, I couldn't believe that I was going to jail over missing that court date for it. After just trying to keep my girlfriend from driving drunk. And the moral of that story, and you guys might not like this. But one thing I learned is that if I'm ever in that situation again, I'm just going to let her drive. I don't care who she is. It's not my problem. She's a grown up. She's an adult. She's responsible for her own actions. I'm never, ever, ever going to put myself in a position like that again. Not because I'm afraid of going to jail. That's not it. It's just, if I had just minded my own fucking business, you know, I mean, yeah, she's my girlfriend, but I don't own her. I don't control what she's supposed to do. But here I was feeling like I was responsible for her. And that's not my place. It's just not. Because the truth is I shouldn't even be with somebody who makes decisions like this. That's on me. So, no. If I'm dating you, you're the kind of girl that just has no common sense to just be like, holy shit, I'm wasted. Because I've been that drunk where I'm like, oh, I can't fucking drive. Now, I've driven drunk many times, but I have enough sense, you know. I know that I'm drunk. If I get pulled over, I'm like, fuck, holy shit. You know? But she should have had enough sense to not drive. And you might be saying, oh, but she could have killed somebody else. She could have killed somebody else. You know, but that's on her, man. That's not on me. That's just not on me, dude. You guys might not agree with that. You might not agree with that, but that's how I feel about it, especially after dealing with that. I'll tell you guys another story, though. Here's another story. Same girl. Well, we kept dating after that, right? And here we were on our way back from a place where we had many drinks, right? Place where we had many drinks. And this is where we actually broke up, because she insists on driving. No matter what I tell her, she insists on driving. And we're driving back. And, yo, the whole time she's insulting me. I'm just sitting there, leaning against the car door, and she's screaming and yelling. She's saying how I'm not a man. She's saying how I'm a piece of shit. She's saying all kinds of just anything that she can to try to get under my skin. But the thing is I was already long past letting words make me react in an irrational manner. I was past this already. I had already reached this point of growth in myself. Not a point of growth to where I had enough self-respect to not date someone like this, but a point of growth to where I wasn't going to allow their words to affect me in this manner. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like listening to this and I'm just trying to find the humor in it, man, you know? And then and then right behind us, and this is the beautiful part, people, we were literally 10 feet from the entrance of my apartment complex. And right behind us, woo, blue and red lights. And I laughed like a fucking maniac. I laughed so hard because, I mean, she was mid-sentence, like talking the worst shit that she could think of to try to be hurtful. And I was sitting there going, wow, you know, because it was to the point where it wasn't that it was hurting me. I was past the point of being hurt that she would try to hurt me. I was past that point. At this point, I was hurt. Or at this point, I was just like kind of marveling at how deep she was trying to dig to be hurtful, to where it was past the point that it was going to hurt me. It was just, I can see that how malicious she was being. And right, little Andy. Yeah. I could see how malicious she was genuinely being. And I got to a point where I was just like, wow, you know, and then those blue lights came on, dude. And I was fucking cracking up. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not too big to admit. It was petty. I was laughing in her face. I was like, look at what you get. Look at what you get. Ha, ha, ha. You know, I was totally just obnoxious because it was just too beautiful. I knew she was going to jail. I knew she was getting a sobriety test. I knew she was going to flunk it. And I knew she was going to get cuffed and put in the back of that car. And guess what? When I saw her get handcuffed, I got out of the car and I begged the cops to let her go. And they were like, we can't. She's too drunk. You know, I begged the cops to let her go. And the whole night, I just waited to hear from her, to get a phone call. When's she getting out? You know. And the funny thing is, she never called me. She never called me. So that was the end of that. I dated her for 2 years. So part of her knew that she was toxic because she would apologize when things like this would happen. She would apologize for it often. She would, you know, practically beg me to not break up with her. And, you know, and I didn't understand because I'd be like, you don't even like me. The things that you say to me are things that of someone who hates someone. She's like, yeah, I know. I don't understand because I don't feel that way. I didn't understand. I don't know whatever mental ailment she suffered from, but it was a thing. She was super, super sweet and we got along great. But then somehow something would snap in her and she would be the polar opposite and be mean. I mean, mean doesn't describe it. But she was aware that it would happen. No. No, mommy for the win. That's not her. No. I have no idea where this girl is now. A friend had told me that she started seeing some, but the thing was that I'm 99% sure she was cheating on me because she was with somebody immediately. She had blocked me. She cut me off from all social media, everything, just like a fart in the wind, just disappeared completely. And then I found out through a friend that you know, she had posted that she was in a relationship with some guy, and it just happened so fast. So, yeah, it was better off. It just hurt that, you know, we were friends for so long that she could, you know, just let things go like that. You know, oh, mommy for the win. Almost every single one. I had one girlfriend, in Miami, and that, she's definitely my one true regret of I was a messed up person, and I was very, very, you know, I drank a lot. I had a drug problem, and she had the same issues, to be honest, but she was very, very supportive of me and very loving, very unconditionally loving. And I very much took her feelings for granted quite often. And she was my best friend. I totally screwed that up. completely messed that relationship up. That was completely and totally me. I take 100% of responsibility for how that relationship turned out. And I broke up with her. It was crazy. I broke up with her because I knew what was happening. She enabled me, and having that trait of addiction, it's just a natural instinct to take advantage of someone who is enabling you. And in her mind, she was just being a supportive, loving girlfriend. But but she enabled my drug habit, my drinking habit. And she was, she had those issues too, but not as bad as I did. She could go without it. I was the one that would always push and be like, let's get this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm ashamed of myself for that period of time in my life. But she's very happy now. I'm still loosely in touch with her. I there are boundaries and unspoken boundaries, but we both respect them. But she is with someone now, and she's very, very happy, and they put a lot of work into the relationship, and she's being treated the way that she deserves to be treated. So I'm extremely happy for her. Yes, booze love. I did. I very much learned from the experience. And that's all I'm saying is, if anybody out there is like dealing with these type of situations, just look at these people that are behaving in this video. If you can relate to these people in these videos currently, you got to do yourself a favor. You got to do yourself a favor and just make yourself happy. You deserve it. We all deserve to be happy. All of us deserve happiness. Make no mistake about that. We all deserve it. So, okay, you're saying, did I learn from it? Did I grow from the experience? LOL, I am not a therapist, but I did stay at the Holiday Express. I've had those times too, man. I've had those times too. Yeah. And yes, I have learned from it. I'm not proud of the person that I used to be by any means at all, but I am proud of the person that I do my best to be every day, currently having experienced those experiences. So I regret nothing. Other than how I've made other people feel. I do regret those things. But I don't have a time machine. So it's irrational and it's illogical to beat myself up over it and dwell on it constantly. The logical thing to do is to try to make up for that as best as I can by being the person that I should have been back then, just working towards being that as much as I can. That's the only logical thing that someone can do. So, I'm just going to keep trying to do that, man. I have a past. I'm not proud of it. But it's not too late ever to realize your behavior. It's not too late to recognize your behavior and then just start taking one step at a time forward to improving your situation. And it starts with self-awareness. It starts with asking yourself really important and hard questions. Oh yeah, mommy for the win. I have done that. I have done that. You know, I've made peace with everyone that on my end that I can. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone wants anything to do with me, and I necessarily want anything to do with others. But it's I can honestly say that I've genuinely tried to make things right with everyone that I feel that I've ever wronged. Right. It's an important thing to let the past be the past, Booze Love. I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Oh, Lufa. Well, that's the idea. You know, you're not just a sub. You know, I like to use this channel to be as honest as I possibly can, because, you know, maybe somebody out there relates, you know, maybe somebody out there kind of gets it. You know, I like to get people thinking. I like to get people talking. And if me, expressing things about my past helps kind of jog that a little bit, you know, that's great. Then I'm doing exactly what I set out to do with this channel. So I'm very, very grateful for everyone who's who gets something out of this. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Mods, I love you very, very much. I appreciate your help. And mommy for the win. Yes. That's how I feel too. That's what I'm aiming for. I genuinely appreciate anyone who is subscribed to this channel and gets something out of it. Because that's how I choose to think of my listeners, is that that's what the chat is for. I'm just kind of hanging out with people, hanging out with friends. I'm entertaining you guys a little bit, and we're just kicking it. And sometimes I'm going to talk about real deep stuff, and sometimes I'm just going to talk about whatever. So I'm really happy with the subscribers that I have right now. But I am going to call it a night. I think you guys are fantastic, and take care of each other. Please stay safe, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.